not for you.
While Rod Stewart was becoming bigger than those old familiar faces, the ladies were getting into the act too. Helen Reddy was on the verge of telling the world she was a woman, and another, a talented Aussie lady, returned to the UK after having served a lengthy apprenticeship in the coffee houses of Melbourne. In 1971, she released a self-titled album, which became the starting point for her major success in America and then the world.
Of the Ohio, and only say that you'll be
Do you think that having such success at such a young age can really make you a little stale by the time you're 30 or 35? Do you think you'll be really tired of the whole thing?
Oh, I hope not. No, I hope I'll... No, I wouldn't say that. I haven't thought that far ahead. When I first went to England and started singing with Pat, there wasn't much opening for contemporary stuff unless you had a record, so you had to sing cabaret.
Right.
Then cabaret, we went into recording and it changed again. I've tried to grow and stretch a little bit each time I've made an album, which is usually when I get the chance to try out new material. And I'm getting braver and braver. Hopefully, I'll go crazy the next one.
Yeah.
But you went into, especially with Grease, you went back to sort of almost the roots of your own music, of going into sort of a more gutsy rock and roll, you know?
Yeah. In the Go Show, though, I generally used to sing the ballads. I wasn't really, I mean, I wanted to, but I didn't really have the confidence to do much of the really funky stuff.
Right.
But now I'm getting the confidence and I really love doing it, you know, and John gives me the chance to try out all different kinds of styles.
Right. Over the last 10 years, how do you personally view the 70s music?
I think the biggest influence, I think the black music has been the biggest kind of influence on the now sound of the 70s, which I love. And Stevie Wonder probably is one of the strongest influences, but it's been longer than the 70s even, but he's sort of...
Well, it's strange. I mean, when we talk about, you know, particular influences, do you think Stevie Wonder has been an influence on 70s music?
Oh, I'm sure he has. He and his contemporaries. The Bee Gees. I think the people that would go down in the 70s would have to be the Bee Gees. The Beatles will always stay there. I think they'll transcend the next 30 years.
Going back into the turn of the 70s, it was sort of not really thought of that sort of singers like yourself and Midler would be doing films, you know, combining the two sort of together. I mean, do you think that's been important?
This one that I'm doing now is John Farrah's doing the music, half of the music, and Jeff Lynne from ELO is doing the other half. So the music is incredible. I mean, it's fantastic. This is the start. I think this could be the start of a whole spate of them if it's accepted. And the music is very, very contemporary. In Greece, which is really the biggest, Saturday Night Fever. Okay, Saturday Night Fever in Greece. And why did I forget Saturday Night Fever? I don't know where I was.
Well, we'll take Greece, for instance. In Greece, and it's funny, I mean, a lot of music writers that we've interviewed, you know, including the Elton Johns and the Paul McCartneys and that, say that it'll go back to rock and roll and it'll go back to lyrics, boy meets girl sort of thing. Now, Greece, even though it was sort of 50s music, but it was updated, was all of that really, wasn't it?
Boy meets girl, boy loses girl, wins her back. It's the same story.
Now, when you first saw the script of that, did you think it was slightly smolchy?
No, because I saw the stage show in London about 8 years ago. Well, actually, it's 9 years ago, I think, when it just came out, and I remembered it and I loved it. So, and I liked the music, and it was instant. It was an instant gut feeling that it was the right thing to do. I loved it.
Right, now, Olivia Newton-John for the 80s.
For the 80s. Well, the beginning of the 80s will be this new movie called Xanadu that I'm doing, which is a fantasy again, much more fantasy than Grease even, with even more contemporary music and a chance to stretch a little bit in acting, which is really what I like to do more of.
And more albums?
Oh yeah, definitely.